Hey guys, hope you're well, and it's James here, and today we're going to be discussing what are the 10 key barriers to blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. So today we're going to talk about the 10 key barriers to blockchain and also cryptocurrency. Now, this is a series of many videos that I'm going to do, but I think this one is the most important to start off with because we've been on this big bull run, and I think everybody's expectations is really high, where in reality we're all the way down here. There are so many things that need to be done for cryptocurrency and blockchain to really sort of be fruitful and create sort of industry leading solutions, if we will. So today I'm going to try and highlight some of those things of where I believe they are. If you don't agree or I've missed something, then please comment below. Also like and subscribe to the channel so you can get all of my videos as soon as they come up, and hopefully you'll get loads of value out of these. So the first topic we're going to talk about is perceptions. Now, perceptions is key. It's how we value things. So things like our favorite brand, we have a perception of it and we're willing to pay that extra money because it makes us feel good, all those types of things. And with Bitcoin, it's very much the same. The perception of Bitcoin, I wouldn't say is great. If you're in the space, then your perception is a lot higher. If you're not in a space, it's generally a little bit lower. And there's a few reasons for that. I suppose the first one is that it's linked to drugs, or it has been linked to drugs, shall we say. Back in the early days, 2011, I think February or so, there was a website on the dark web, Silk Road, and that was very much linked to dealing of drugs. You had this website which was Tor operated, hidden service, all anonymous, and then you had this anonymous cryptocurrency where you could go buy any type of drug paraphernalia that you wanted. Now, obviously, that got some hype. It was on Gawker, and all of a sudden, by the time it got to about 2013, the FBI got involved and closed it down. It was linked to a guy called Ross Ulbricht, who was supposed to be the founder, and the guy that was called Dead Pirate Roberts. He was served with lifetime imprisonment, which feels a bit harsh because I'm not sure all the evidence was there to do it, and the FBI took all the Bitcoin that was there basically, and they've got one of the biggest wallets out there. So again, one thing that sort of tarnishes Bitcoin slightly. So the next big thing is money laundering, and there's something called a tumbler service. So you can take the Bitcoin, you can split it into lots of mini transactions, then send it. It makes it all random through the Tor browser, and it goes to lots of different Bitcoin addresses and breaks it up so much that it's really hard to sort of fragment it and put it back together again. Once this is all complete, your Bitcoin's pretty much clean, and away you go really, and then you can cash it out or buy other cryptocurrencies and do whatever you want. So that there's a lot of tumbler services out there, and again, some of those have been linked to scams and different bits and pieces. So there is quite a lot out there. So the next one is terrorism, which isn't brilliant, but we've got to talk about it. So there was an article published by CNBC. There was concerns that Zubair Sanaj, I think I've pronounced that right, 27, from Brentwood, Long Island in New York, took loads of stolen credit cards, then bought loads of Bitcoin, over 150,000, and then this money was sent to ISIS across different countries. She eventually ended up admitting to it, so again, it has been used for that. Now, there are a few arguments that people could say, well, okay, Bitcoin's been used for those particular activities, and that's not great, and yeah, we should ban it. But then, if we look, that's probably on a small level. If we look on a larger level, it's the US dollar. Now, do we just stop using the US dollar because it's been used for that? No, we continue to use it because it's the method of currency. And I don't think it matters what method of currency we use, if it's digital, if it's Bitcoin, or if it's something completely different. It's always going to be manipulated and used for some wrongdoings at some point. However, it is the perception of outsiders or people that might want to see Bitcoin or blockchain technology take off. It gives them an easy sort of scapegoat. So where to start and the basics. One of the key people I would really suggest to go and check out is Andreas Antonopoulos. I think I pronounced that right again. Anyway, he's really good. He's one of the pioneers in the space. Watch his videos, understand what Bitcoin is, understand what money is, what's the difference, how does it work, and I think he's a really good guy to follow. I've also got like a little list of people that I followed in my sort of early days as well. Very much CryptoLark for sort of ICO reviews and things. Chris Dunn for a little bit of the trading stuff. Ivan on Tech for more the techie develop, how do things work, and then Crypto Bud in terms of his research. His research was really sort of poignant when I was sort of early in the space. So that really got me into doing some really good quality research as well. I think some of the other things is just to know where to go, how do you buy it, is it Coinbase, Bitpanda, all these different things, and you know who's charging what fees. Those little fundamental things are really important for people to understand. Now, I have a course on my YouTube channel, completely free. If anybody is new to cryptocurrency, then check that out. It will give you everything that you need to get started. I think some of the other things are that there are a lot of paid resources out there, but I think the space has developed so quickly that there is so much information on YouTube that you don't really need to go any further or even pay for that type of information. And in sort of the basics as well is, you know, you go and you buy your Ethereum or your Bitcoin, and then you need to send it somewhere, or you're in your MyEther wallet and you need to do something. I remember the very early days bricking it because I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. I started, you know, the best thing I can say is start small with your transactions, and once you build your confidence, you know what you're doing, then build them up and stuff. And I've talked to quite a few people, and everyone said they went through like the whole same experience. It's like an initiation when you do that first transfer. And I suppose some of the key things is just knowing what are the basics. You know, most people probably know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But if you have a Bitcoin a wallet, then you want to send it to another Bitcoin wallet. You send it to an Ethereum wallet, you're going to lose it. It's that simple. So just always be sober. Don't be horny, pissed, drugs, whatever. Just be, yeah. So in terms of the basics as well is wallets. You know, wallets is a really big thing. Now, one of the big things I will say is get some hardware. Make sure that you're super safe, everything's offline so you don't get hacked. So I have a couple of friends who have been. Now, when you make that first transaction, I remember when I did it, I was bricking it. I was thinking, man, if I get this wrong, I can't go and ask anybody, because back then there was nobody to ask. There was no community. There was no, pretty much 99% of all the YouTubers that exist now didn't exist when I started. So, you know, that gives you a bit of an idea of there was just no information. So, and I think it's a bit of initiation as well when you do that. You sort of like, oh man. But biggest tip, start small, build yourself up as you build your confidence and you really understand what you're doing. But there are some key wallets out there. So some of the ones I use, I've got Mew, which is basically for all my ICOs as they come in, which is pretty good. They've also got Mew Connect now, so it's got sort of better security. So it's like a hardware wallet that is still sort of online. And you can just do it on your app as well, so that's pretty cool. You've got Bitcoin, you've got Mycelium. I've not used that. You've got Bread, and you've got Airbits. With Airbits, you get 20% off at Starbucks. So if you like a coffee, you know, just a little bit of a tip there. In terms of the multi-wallets, this is probably what I use more of. I use Jaxx on my mobile, and for my desktop, I'm using Exodus. So a lot of these wallets are pretty decent, and then I also use cold wallets as well, and mainly store most things on there. I've got a few bits here and there on exchanges, but not massive amounts. So the other key thing is, you know, never share your private keys with anybody, and also keep them safe. Most of the time, pretty much all my keys are kept on a USB drive, off the internet, off any sort of programs, so no one can get in. I had a friend who had his computer hacked, and they stole nearly $5,000 worth of cryptocurrency. So it really does pay to just be a little bit more vigilant and a little bit careful. And I think this is one of the reasons why people sort of shied away from cryptocurrency, because they just really don't know where to start and what to do. And I think getting started is always the hardest thing. Once you get in, this stuff is like, it's like crack, isn't it? If anyone that's in the crypto space, you know, once you get involved, it's very addictive. But it is just that hard part is just getting started. So the next one is actually spending your cryptocurrency. Now there are some cards out there. I do have a Revolut card, so I can go out and spend my cryptocurrency, and it's all on my app and everything. There's CryptoPay, there's Wirex, and there's a few others out there. Unfortunately, they all are a little bit basic, but they will allow you to go spend your cryptocurrency. We're not really at a stage where you can do lots of fundamental things, investing and exchanges, and do everything on your app. However, there are some products coming that will allow you to do that, like 10x and Amon, but their big thing is actually getting a card out into the market. So there's some barriers here. There are some great products that are coming, but they're just not available just yet. And the reason why crypto you're going to want to use cryptocurrency is because with sort of, if you use a Visa card and I'm a retailer, I have to pay anywhere between 2 and 5% for every transaction. With cryptocurrency, it's way below 1%. So as a retailer, you're going to accept cryptocurrency because you're going to increase your margin on your products and overheads. There's a whole bunch of things that have happened to retailers over the many years, actually. Things like increasing minimum wage, things moving online. People need to want to be able to compete a lot more, and cryptocurrency will actually allow them to do that. But unfortunately, I think we are 3 to 5 years before we even get moderate adoption. I think the other thing is even when you've got your crypto and you want to spend it, some days it's so crazy. You could walk out the door and your Bitcoin's 10 grand, and you get home and it's 7 grand, or whatever the scenario is. It fluctuates so much, and a lot of you are sort of aware of that. So that fluctuation just makes it really hard to know when and when not to spend your crypto. And you don't want to be on your phone 24/7. Go, okay, right, bye. Because it just doesn't make sense. And everybody be waiting at the till and no, not yet, boom, and then try and pay when it was at the most premium price. We don't want that. You just want to go in, you pay for your goods, you get home. You know what I mean? You want it nice and simple, and we're not quite there yet. There have been some massive transactions and use cases of cryptocurrency. Now that the machines behind you were bought from Bitmain using Litecoin. Probably should have just kept hold of Litecoin, would have made a fortune and sold it. But again, these machines pretty much got me back to square one with a bit of profit as well, actually, so I can't complain. They were just very loud when they were on. So there are use cases of using cryptocurrency, but they're not big enough and wide enough just yet to really sort of warrant some mass adoption or anything like that. So as we stand, the crypto spending is again another barrier. Then we're going to talk about safety and security, and this is a big thing for people. They get their hard-earned cash, they buy this cryptocurrency, they put it in a wallet, and then before they know it, someone's stolen it. Or they've put an exchange and someone's stolen it. We've seen this time and time again, and this really does scare people off. If we have a look at some of the exchanges, you've got 2014 Mt. Gox, Cryptsy, MintPal, 2015 Bitstamp, Bitir, then 2016 we had Bitfinex. I know that's a very big favorite for a lot of people. 2017 NiceHash, 2018 we had CoinCheck, BitGrail, CoinSecure, CoinRail, Zaviv, MapleChange, and PureBit. So a whole bunch. Cryptocurrency gets more popular, a whole more exchanges get hacked. And just at the start of 2019 we've already had HitBTC, we've had Cryptopia, which was probably one of the big ones that hit the space, and also CoinMama as well. So this news spreads, people hear about it, and it just creates fear, and then people don't want to get into the space. Now the biggest thing I would say is that people need to get a cold wallet. Something that is a piece of hardware where it is off the grid, if you will, and if someone hacks into your laptop or something, they can't get into your wallet because it's all stored on here with your special keys. I have done a lot of deals recently with somebody who has a copious amount of Bitcoin, and I'm talking copious, and they didn't have a hardware wallet, so I have gone and bought them one, because that there'll be tears, they'll be jumping off something if that goes missing and they don't have it on a hardware wallet. So biggest advice to people, protect yourself all times, a little bit like the UFC really. Otherwise you're going to get knocked out, and nobody wants that. You always want to keep your crypto safe. So that's one of the big things I think that scares people off. So next is trading. Now I love trading, however I know that there is a lot of people that have come into cryptocurrency and never been on an exchange ever in their life, and it can be a little bit of a daunting process, especially if you don't know what you're doing or have a friend that you can sit with to really understand it. Now again, I do have a course online which you can check out. It's all free on the YouTube channel. Now the second thing that really stops people is the FOMO and the emotions that come with trading. So you're new at trading, you sort of work out how to do your buy and your sell, which might take you a little while, and you start to understand that. And then you see the prices, there's a coin that you wanted to buy and you didn't quite buy it for whatever reason, and then you see it jump 50-60%. You think you're missing out, you jump in, all of a sudden the coin starts tanking, you can't sell out fast enough, you've not set a stop loss because you don't even know what one is, and before you know it, you've actually lost a whole bunch of money. Now this isn't great, and I think as we go forward, I can see that more and more people will want to manage their own funds. I mean, I have a load of people that have got brokers, and I don't know anybody that's actually made any money. We've all seen Wolf of Wall Street. They're probably out, hookers, cocaine, champagne, a lot. I've always managed my own funds, always, and I've always outperformed any brokers that I know, pretty much. Well, definitely. So that's the, I think going forward, people are going to get smarter about these things and manage their own money. All the fees that they don't realize, these 1 and 2%, the compound effect of that is absolutely huge. Now, in terms of some of the other things I see going forward is that going to have to think more things like trading bots and algorithms that will just do automatic trading. And as we go forward, those sort of things and products and services will be made so much easier for people to jump into, so they can do their own trading. However, at this moment in time, it is a little bit daunting for anybody that is new to the space. I would say if you're brand new, Binance is a good friendly platform that you can sort of go around and play with. I find it quite user friendly, if you will, or the user experience is great. The cheapest is Robinhood, and then probably the best volume is BitThumb. So if you've got some big deals to do, then that's probably the place to go. And you can tell that is the big boys play on the exchange because they have less transactions than Binance, but their volume is sometimes nearly double. So you know that there's some big deals going through there. So the next one is keeping your finger on the pulse. This is the biggest one. The biggest one. Understanding what's going on all of the time is like having another job. Most people have a job, they go to work, they've got families, and in that small portion of time, they've got to try and catch up with all the stuff that's happened in the market. Now, there is so much going on. You've got things like mainnet launches, that can boost the price by 20-30%. Then you've got things like hard forks. Now, we've had loads, and some of them have been absolutely tosh. One of the big ones I remember was Z Classic. I was doing a massive bunch of trades. I think I had about 100,000 of them. And I traded out, made some good money, I thought, and then I had a small amount, and the group I was coaching at the time all had chunky amounts, and I woke up and it went from a couple of dollars to $200. I mean, that day I was receiving texts. A lot of people liked me that day, but I didn't like myself because I sold out a bit too early and too much, and I was left with a decent profit, but. You can't just keep on top of these things. It's impossible. There's just so much going on. There's nearly 3,000 coins on CoinMarketCap. Now, you can't see all of them because some of them are on exchanges where things like LA Token, they just don't have the APIs that feed the coins through. So they need to be on another exchange to even get their coin on CoinMarketCap. There's other things that are going on. So, delisting of coins. You've got to keep up with this because then they lock it and you can't get your coins out and it's all a mess. So you've got things like Binance now. They're delisting Sub and Salt and some others as well. So you've got to keep on top of that. I would say some of the key things that I do to try and keep on top of it is probably Twitter. Twitter seems to be one of the big platforms. YouTube is always really good as well. There's a lot of people, there must be 200, 300, 400 YouTubers now, all with their fingers in pies, and they know different companies, and someone is always releasing news. So that's quite a good current way to keep up with stuff. But in terms of websites, I normally look at CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, and also Blockomi as well. So those are some good resources if you want to try and keep your finger on the pulse. But it is literally like a full-time job, and I think this can sometimes put people off. Now we have market manipulation. Now this is probably one of the biggest. Jamie Dimon, you fucking prick. Basically, there's people like him that would say, oh, I hate Bitcoin, it's not very good. Price plummets. They jump in with millions, hundreds of millions in orders for Bitcoin. If that happened in any other market, they'd be banged up and he'd be getting his bum cherry popped. But unfortunately, somehow got away with it. There are also some platforms or exchanges that have also done similar things, where you've got Bitfinex. Bitfinex was, especially in the big bull run period, was manipulating the price using Tether as well. A lot of studies going on to sort of analyze how and what they were doing in terms of trying to sort of bump the price up of Bitcoin. So, but there is a common connection between Tether and Bitfinex, sharing sort of the same management team, including Van der Veer or whatever, or Van der Velde, whatever his name is. So there's some key connections there, or conspirators, if you will. I think the other one that everybody knows about is Roger Ver, and some of the stuff with Bitmain, and also Kraken actually, where especially with the new split. So you also had Bitcoin Cash, that was crazy, and then there was a whole massive spike from sort of only a few $100s. I think I had it at $600, and it went up to $6,000. Like I just happened to be up that night. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Had my computer on. I was just doing a bit of trading, and all of a sudden, Bitcoin Cash just went absolutely mental. I think I got out at like $2,500 or $3,000, and it was mental, absolutely mental. And that's not normal market trading. That's manipulation. One, that creates opportunity, which is great, but then people on the flip side, that's not great, and this can sort of put people off. And also quite recently with sort of the Bitcoin ABC and all the Satoshi Vision and all the rest of it. Obviously with the ABC, they're saying that they rented hashing power and lots of different things to try and manipulate it, so manipulating the price. And Roger Veer's been here a couple of times and got the t-shirt, and again, like, he used to be a massive figure in the space, and now a lot of people view him as a bit of a scammer and not really interested. And personally, when I look at Bitcoin Cash, SV, ABC, I don't care what you want to call it, or split it again, Litecoin is just 100 times better, man. Bitcoin Cash is just dog shit. It won't last the test of time as far as I'm concerned. Bitcoin, it become an investment tool. Litecoin is what people use, I reckon, for paying for stuff. It's just so much quicker, better. Charlie Lee, what a ledge. Then we've got Tex Savvy. Now, a lot of people think that you need to have developer type knowledge to get into the space and understand things. Now, in some cases, there was a wallet that I needed to download quite recently, and I don't, I've got the Neo wallet and lots of different ones. You click a button, it downloads a few bits and pieces, job done. I can do that. This was inputting code, and I was like, what the? I still haven't downloaded the wallet. So I would say I'm passionate about the space. I'm in the space, and I sometimes find it difficult doing certain things. And I'm sure there's other people out there that might not want to admit it, but that we do struggle with some things. It's all new technology, and if you've never done it before, you just don't know, and you've got to learn it, and that's the thing. But there is a lot of things out there that are putting people off as well. Things like token swaps. Now, there's another project I'm in. They've done 3 token swaps in a very short period of time. So, first of all, people missed the first one, and they got to go back and do the second one, and they got to keep swapping the tokens. Now, I do realise that with a lot of the token swaps, it's all about upgrading the security of the token, which is brilliant, and they need to do it. But it does put people off quite a lot, and then people just lose interest in some of the projects. And then obviously the online, the mobiles, the hardware, the online wallets. There's so much that you need to consider, and you do need to really be into your technology to some extent to get in. And I do think, again, this is a barrier for people wanting to get into the space, because they're like, I've spoken to a couple of people before, and they were like, oh no, it just sounds too complicated, and you haven't even told them what it is. Oh yeah, about Bitcoin. Oh no, well yeah, too much. I couldn't get into that. So again, this is really a key barrier for a lot of people. Then we have scams, and I think this is probably one of the biggest things that just annoys and pisses people off, and why they're not coming into the space. First of all, you have the phishing scams. This was huge with My Ether wallet. Now, you put in your keys, private keys and stuff, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, your whole My Ether wallet was empty. Now, there is a project out there called Atheon, and with their token, if you get scammed like that, they can actually pull the funds back from the scammers. So, there's some cool technology, and I'm sure we'll see this across other projects as well. Then you've got things like fake exchanges and wallets, these things popping up, and you think you're going into a certain site, and it's just all like a fake face to it, if you will. and then you input your bitcoins or whatever, and then you've lost them. You've also got the old school scams, just those click on links that are going around. You've got fraudulent ICOs, so probably biggest one was ETH Connect. That was huge. I think they took like 12 million. There's a whole bunch of others as well, and a load of people have been doing that. Then you've got sort of the Ponzi and pyramid schemes. Now, we've all heard of the BitConnect scam. That was huge. They're like, no, we're fine, we're going, Trevon James and all the rest of it. And before we knew it, the whole thing had collapsed. And the same with USI Tech. And obviously did the undercover video for that. Got to some of their big leaders and got some key information, which was pretty shocking, if I say. Then the next one is malware. Obviously, that people getting onto your computer. Obviously, my mate had all of his Cryos nicked from his computer because of the malware that was on there, and they were able to get in and steal his private keys. Then you've got things like mining scams. I would probably say any cloud mining is a fucking scam these days. None of them, mining, it doesn't provide a great return. That's why my machines are off. Even when I speak to some people about certain things, I've got a friend now, they're using a mining facility in Australia where it is all solar powered, and they're just pretty much just breaking a profit, and that's on solar power, not like cheap electricity and stuff. So generally mining things all pretty much a scam. And then you've got pump and dumps, where you can pay to get into these particular groups, and there's groups out there that literally they just want you in. They're in cheap. They'll tell you, oh, it's going to this price, all the rest of it. Everybody piles in. Before you know it, they pull the carpet beneath you because they've just sold out and the price plummets. There's so many of those going up and down. Jamie Dimon, probably one of the biggest scammers out there, with some of the stuff he's been doing as well. So for me, there is just so much out there in terms of the scam element that is really putting people off. So the last one is adoption. Now, for me, there's so many projects out there that have plenty of potential, but they just don't have a product, they don't have a service, or whatever they're doing just doesn't work, or it's been hacked or something. Now, for it to be commercially viable, businesses aren't going to buy into this stuff, unfortunately. It needs to work. You need someone like a lone nut to step out and prove that it works. You need some companies that go out there, prove that it works, show sort of like the financial sort of returns of investments of invest in the blockchain technology, which is going to be costly, but also what does that return? How much money are they going to save as a business? Once we get that commercial viable sort of element in the place, then people will jump on board. The company that I work at, they're a huge global company. Pretty much anybody that's watching this video right now is eating one of their products, I guarantee. They're interested in blockchain technology. I've spoken in quite depth to the legal team that I know quite well. They've spoken to lots of different companies. I've introduced companies to them. They're intrigued by it all. However, they're not going to invest in blockchain technology until they see somebody else make it successful, because they don't want to take the risk as a large business of taking that step. So there's a huge jump of faith that needs to be taken by a few companies to really prove this it works before we get this mass adoption. The cards, all the elements that I talked about today, all of these things those barriers have to come down before we get that mass adoption. And the big thing for me is that if your granny can go out and spend crypto, use the blockchain, not even realize that she's doing it, and do it with ease that she doesn't even know she's doing it, that is where the huge mass adoption will come into play. There's so many things. We've seen some great things with Samsung phones, and I'm sure this will be the big thing where everything is just integrated into your phone, and it's like using Apple Pay. Once it's that simple, then we'll start to see some of this mass adoption take place. As always, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Please leave some likes, comments. Let me know if there's something that I've missed on this video, and hopefully you've got loads of value out of it today. And I'll catch you on my next video. I'm feeling